Statistical thinking is another skill that we need to train our minds to apply. Thinking from a statistical perspective helps us to view the world in a more objective and accurate manner. This is because the truth sits within statistics, not our biased personal perspectives. As a study field, in statistics, we want to analyze data to make sense of the world. But because this is a life skill class, not an academic class, we're not going to go into how to collect and analyze data. Instead, we will learn how to think in numbers rather than single cases whenever we think about the world around us. In other words, we're conducting informal statistic techniques to make estimates that will help us make better judgments in our lives. This skill alone will set you apart from the majority of people that would refer to instinct or anecdotes to make judgments because they're untrained on how to think in a statistical manner that will definitely yield better judgments. In a nutshell, statistical thinking will help you see the world more clearly and make better judgments than anecdotal thinking. To showcase this, let's consider the following example. Say someone asks two people of their opinion about seatbelt safety. Do you believe seatbelts can save your life in an accident? Assume that both person A and person B think anecdotally. Person A answers, "No, my friend had an accident while wearing a seatbelt, which got stuck, the car went up in flames, and she couldn't exit the car and tragically died. So seatbelts don't necessarily save your life." Person B answers, "Yes, I had an accident, and if not for the seatbelt, I would have been flung out of the car and landed into the pavement, so seatbelts do save your life." Now, let's break these answers down. First, notice that when A and B attempted to answer the question, they referred to a single case to make their judgment. Second, who do you think is right and who is wrong? Well, both are right. Seatbelts don't necessarily save your life, but do also save your life sometimes, right? But that's not the point. The point is, should we wear seatbelts or no? Which is the better judgment? To find out, we have to think statistically. In other words, in large numbers of cases, not just referring to a single case. So, say we consulted statistics regarding last year's accidents and found that 80% of people who wore seatbelts have survived, against 50% of people who did not wear seatbelts and survived car accidents. The better worldview of seatbelt use and fatality rates shows us that it's better to wear seatbelts, statistically speaking. And because we refer to statistics, not our personal experience, we made a better judgment. So, does that mean person B have better judgment than A, given that A advocated for wearing seatbelts? No, because his judgment was drawn from a single case also, which means if he happened to recall an experience similar to person A, his anecdotal thinking would have led him to judge against wearing seatbelts, or at least not finding them necessarily useful. In other words, B is not wiser than A, they both think the same way, the difference is B just got lucky with his answer. The key thing to learn here is that anecdotal thinking can equally land you on both sides of the argument, and then only luck will make you right. Statistical thinking, however, will more than often land you on the right side of an argument, and therefore never refer to a single experience when making a judgment. Always think in large numbers of cases. Now, let's see how statistical thinking helps us in more real-life examples. In light of the pandemic, some people will say masks don't work, my partner wore a mask and still got the virus, and that may be true. Masks sometimes do not prevent a particular infection. But I'm still gonna wear a mask because they do work statistically, which means in large number of populations of people that don't wear masks, the virus will spread more rapidly than in a similar population that does wear masks. So masks may not help you on that unlucky day, but they do prevent infections statistically. Another example, your friend comes along and pitches you an idea for a new social media platform. is such a good idea because it made Facebook, Snapchat, and Twitter founders into billionaires, right? So you can't go wrong with this business venture. Maybe, but if you account for the hundreds of social media startups that failed, then this could fail also, statistically speaking. This is also called survivorship bias, where people solely focus on the success stories when making a business or a career decision. But the key point to take here, if you think statistically about things, you are more likely to end up correct. So remember, always think in big numbers when deciding on something. Always think statistically.